I looked away when you looked up, like that would have changed a thing. You asked me something simple, I forgot what I meant to say. Maybe you didn't notice, maybe you noticed first. I've been replaying that moment more than it probably deserves. If it's only in my head, why does it feel so real? I think we both know something changed that night. Nobody said it out loud, but neither of us denied it. I think we both know it's hiding in the quiet. One more second like this, and I might finally say it. Now every place feels smaller, like somehow you'll be there. I still catch myself looking before I know I am. I keep writing your name and deleting it again. Maybe that's enough to tell me where I've been. If I'm wrong, you don't have to say it. If I'm right, maybe don't say it yet. I kinda like this moment before it turns into something else. I think we both know nothing feels the same. It's only little moments, but they remember your name. I think we both know we're taking our time. Maybe that's the reason I can't get you off my mind.
You said you had an early morning. I said I should probably go. We stood outside your building, still talking about nothing. A car went by, then another. Someone turned off the lights upstairs. Neither of us seemed to notice how late it had already been. You stayed a little longer, longer than you had to. If it didn't mean anything, why didn't we say goodbye? You stayed a little longer, I think I did too. Funny how a few more minutes can feel like everything. You pointed at a window with a cat still looking out, and somehow we started laughing about something I can't remember now. I only remember your smile when you look back at me. The story's already fading, that part never did. You stayed a little longer, longer than you planned to. The night kept getting quieter, we never seemed to mind. You stayed a little longer, like there was one more thing to say. Maybe we were both waiting, maybe that was enough. When I finally walked away, I heard you call my name. Not because I'd forgotten something, just one last good night. I smiled all the way home for reasons I couldn't explain. a small reason to stay. You stayed a little longer. That's the part I remember most now. What we talked about, not where we were. You stayed a little longer. Maybe that's how some stories begin, without anyone noticing. I know you won't be there, but I still look for you anyway. Every face feels almost right, but never quite the same. I walk a little slower now, past places we might cross, just in case you're standing there, like I've been thinking all along. What if you are there? What if you see me too? What if this whole time I was one step from you? What if you are the one? What if you are the one? I keep looking everywhere, but I only see you there. What if you are the one? What if you are the one? It's getting hard to pretend that I don't need you again. I pass the same street twice, like something might change. I check the same reflections, just hoping for your shade. People come and people go, but none of them stay. They all fade into noise when I think your name. What if you are there? What if you see me too? What if this whole time I was one step from you? What if you are the one? What if you are the one? I keep looking everywhere, but I only see you there. What if you are the one? What if you are the one? It's getting hard to pretend that I don't need you again. Maybe you never knew, maybe I never said, but I've been living inside this maybe head. What if you are the one? What if you are the one? I keep looking everywhere, but I only see you there. What if you are the one? What if you are the one? I swear I tried to move on, but I always end up wrong. We stood there for a while, like nothing needed to be said. The air between us felt different, but neither of us moved. You looked away first, then I did the same, like we were both pretending. It meant nothing at all, but it didn't feel like nothing. It felt like something paused right in the middle of us. without a sound. Neither of us said anything, not a word, not a sound, but I still remember it like it never went away. Neither of us said anything, but everything changed a little. I think you felt it too, even if you won't say it now. We talked about something small. I can't even remember what, but I remember your voice, different than before. I almost said your name just to see what would happen, but I stayed quiet instead, like I always do. Maybe it was nothing, maybe it was everything. Funny how silence can feel so loud sometimes. Neither of us said anything, not a word, not a sound, but I still remember it like it never went away. Neither of us said anything, but something stayed behind. I think you felt it too, even if we never spoke. Maybe it was just a moment that didn't know how to end, so it just stayed there between you and me. Neither of us said anything, but I still carry it like a quiet echo that never fades. And maybe that was the point. Some things don't need words to stay real. We didn't say much that night, but everything felt louder than usual. Even the way you looked away stuck in my mind somehow. I keep replaying that night over and over again, like I missed something small that meant everything. You laughed at something simple, I don't even remember what, but I remember your face like it stayed too long. I should have said something more, or maybe said less, but I just stood there like I always do. I keep replaying that night like a scene I can't pause. Every detail feels closer than it should be. We walked a little slower than, like we weren't in a hurry to leave. I remember thinking maybe this means something, but we never said it out loud, not even close, just small moments that felt too big to ignore. I keep replaying that night, and it never plays the same. Some parts get softer, some parts get worse. Maybe nothing really happened, but it didn't feel like nothing. And that's the problem. I keep replaying that night, like I'm trying to find a different ending that never existed. I tried not to think about it, like it didn't matter at all, but it kept coming back quietly every time. Maybe it meant something more than we said, more than we showed, more than we knew. It wasn't a big moment, nothing changed out loud, but something shifted just a little. You stood closer than usual, or maybe I noticed more. Funny how distance can feel different sometimes. Maybe it meant something, even if it shouldn't, even if it didn't last, even if we moved on. I keep thinking about the silence, not what was said, but what wasn't, that space between us. You looked at me once and looked away too fast, but I caught it, or maybe I imagined it. Maybe it meant something, or maybe I made it up. I can't really tell anymore what was real. I replay it differently now, trying to find a reason, but reasons don't stay still, they change every time. Maybe it meant something, or maybe it was just a moment that didn't know what it was, so it stayed between us. I don't need an answer, not really, I just need to know. I didn't imagine it all. I don't know why I still do it. It just happens every time. Before I even think about it, I already found you in the room. I still notice you first, even when I try not to. It's like my eyes already know where you're supposed to be. You don't do anything different, you're just there like before, but somehow that's enough to pull my attention back. I still notice you first, like it's not even a choice, like something in me already decided for me. I try to look away sometimes, pretend I didn't see it, but it doesn't really still notice you first. And maybe that's all it is, but it feels like more, even when nothing happens. We stood in the same place, but not really together. There was air between words that neither of us filled. There was still space between us, even when it felt close, even when nothing was wrong. Something stayed in the middle. We talk like usual, small things, nothing important. But I noticed the pauses longer than before. There was still space between us, not physical, not obvious, just something unspoken, sitting quietly in the room. You didn't move closer, I didn't either. It wasn't rejection, it was just how it was. We filled time instead of silence, talking about anything else, but not what mattered. Never that. There was still space between us, and I started to notice it more, like it had always been there, just invisible before. Maybe it was always like this, maybe I just stopped ignoring it, but now I can feel it clearly, the space between us. It starts in the quiet moments, when I'm not doing anything, just a normal second of the day, and then you show up in my head. I think about you too much, more than I should, more than I wanna admit, even when I try not to. It's not a big moment, it's small things everywhere, like your name in silence that no one else hears. I think about you too much, and it feels automatic now, like it doesn't ask me anymore. It just happens. I see things and connect you, not because they belong to you, but because my mind does it without permission. Sometimes it feels normal, like this is just how it is. Other times it feels too loud inside my head. I think about you too much, and I don't know when it started. It didn't feel like a moment, more like a slow takeover. but everything changed anyway. Something stayed after you were gone.
Not your voice,
just something I can't explain.
That didn't leave with you.
It's in the way I pause now, in the spaces between thoughts, in moments I don't expect to think of you again. Something stayed after you were gone,
And I stopped trying to remove it, because it doesn't hurt like before. It just exists.
I thought it would fade like everything usually does, but it didn't follow that rule. It stayed a little longer, not heavy, just always there in the background, like a song I don't notice anymore, but never really stops playing. Something stayed after you were gone,
And maybe that's all it is.
no ending, no answer, just something